Good evening, folks. In today's class, we will be studying about what is conditional statements in Python. Let us understand what is the condition statements in Python. Before getting into what is condition statements in Python, let me tell you how Python program is executed so far. So far, we have seen a lot of Python programs where Python programs are executed line by line, meaning, if say, for example, we have a Python program here in day 5's class, here the Python program is executed line after line, meaning the first line of this is getting will be first executed, and then the next line, and then the next line, and then the next line. This is called as sequential flow. One after the another, the Python programs are getting executed, or in other ways I can say that Python programs are usually executed from top to bottom, meaning from top the first line, and then the second line, and then the third line, and then the fourth line, and then the last line would be executed. This is called the sequential flow in a Python program. Or we can say that Python programs are usually executed from top to bottom approach. But in today's class, we are going to understand that Python program can also be executed based on some conditions. Now, what are those conditions and where is it used? How is it used? Everything we will be able to understand here. Now, let's take up the topic in today's class. I'm going to explain about the topic conditional statements. Conditional statements in Python. Conditional statements in Python. Now, you need to understand that I will give you a real-time example. Now, we would not wish our friend good morning irrespective of any time in a day. We would greet our friend good morning only during the morning hours, and we will greet good afternoon only during the noon hours, and we would greet good evening only during the evening hours. We will not greet good morning at throughout the day. It is only during the certain period or certain time hours we would wish our friends good morning. Likewise, conditional statement says that not necessary that we need to execute the Python program line by line or line after line or in a sequential flow or in a top to bottom approach. In conditional statement in Python, we can execute the Python program if at all there is any condition met. That is what we are going to study now, conditional statements in Python. So what are the topics that we will be studying here? What you will learn here, you will be learning about a topic called as the basics of if statement, basics of elif statement, and basics of else statement. Under conditional statement in Python, we will be looking into if statement, elif statement, and else statement. All these statements, when it is used, how it is used, with clear example we will be able to see. And the next, under conditional statement, we will also be looking into comparisons we will be looking into, and comparisons and truthiness we will be looking into. This is the second topic that we are going to discuss. And then the third topic we will be discussing about nesting versus guard classes. Nesting versus guard classes. This one also we are going to understand and see how this is used and why it is used as the third topic. And then we are also going to discuss and understand about one line ternary, and then operators we are going to understand. One line ternary also we are going to see. And the last topic what we are going to see is called as optional match. These are the topics that we will be discussing under the conditional statements. Remember, conditional statements are telling us that during, if at all, if there is a condition met, then that particular line of code will be executed. That is how we are going to make sure that is going to happen. We will discuss in the upcoming sessions. So now here in this particular conditional statement in Python, we will be studying about basics, if, elif, and else, comparisons and truthiness, nesting versus guard classes, one line ternary if, and optional match. All these these things we will be discussing under conditional statements. Now, without any delay, let's pick up the first topic. The first topic what we are going to discuss is if, elif, and else. If, elif, and else. Now, clearly understand that if a condition in Python or in English, when we take that, if the time is between, if the time is in between 6 or if the time is between 6 to 11 o'clock, during this hours, we would wish our friends good morning. If the condition, the time is in between 6 to 8 o'clock or 6 to 11 o'clock, we would wish our friends, good morning. If the time is above 11 o'clock or above 12 o'clock and in between 4 o'clock, we would wish our friends good noon or good afternoon. So if we are trying to say we are passing any condition and the condition sets or turns true, then good morning or the remaining part of the code will be executed. Now let's take a beautiful example. I say that, I'm creating a variable age and then I'm assigning a value 17 to it. Remember, I'm creating a variable age and I'm assigning a value 17 to it. Now, as per the Indian law, anybody above 18 years can vote. If a person is, if an individual is less than 18 years, he or she cannot vote. Now, I have created a variable age and I'm assigned the value 17 to it, 17. Now, what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to check whether this particular age of this individual is adult or not. So what I need to check, if this person is greater than the age 18. If his age is greater than 18, then I can call him an adult. So what I'm trying to say here, I'm using a if keyword. If is a keyword in Python or it is a reserved word in Python, the color changes because it is pink or there is a different color here where it tells us it is a reserved word or it is a keyword in Python where we cannot use this word, reserved word if or a keyword if as a variable. So this if tells us that tells us if the condition is true, then go and execute. So what I'm trying to do here, if the age of the particular person is greater than we discussed in the last class, or if it is equal to 18, or if it is equal to 18. So you need to read this line as if the age is greater than or equal to 18, then I give something called as two dots called as colon. If this condition is true, say suppose if age of the particular individual is greater than or equal to 18, then get into the if block and execute whatever the line that is there inside the if block. You need to understand that you are telling it to Python that if is a reserved word in Python, and then I'm passing the condition here. The condition here is age is greater than or equal to 18, and if this condition returns true, I'm giving the colon. I'm the colon when it is telling I am when the colon is given, I'm telling to the Python saying that the condition is completed. If the condition is true, get inside that if block and print adult. Get inside the if block and print the line adult. If there is I'm using an if keyword and the age is greater than or equal to 18, then I am saying that the condition is complete. If the condition is completed, I need to give the colon symbol. Then if this condition is true, only in that case it will get inside this if block and then print this particular line adult. Now in this case, in this example, 17 is not greater than or equal to 18, so it will not get into the if block. It will directly go to the next line. Here in this line I'm giving another condition. Elif is another keyword in Python. Remember, if at all you are giving multiple conditions, the first condition should begin with the keyword if, and the next condition should begin with the keyword elif. When you are saying elif to Python will say that, oh, if there is elif is used in the second condition, and there should be an if condition before this one. So elif sense that if at all this condition is not satisfied, if at all this condition is not satisfied, then the control comes here. Then the control comes here. Here in elif, also I'm trying to create, I'm trying to use the variable age, and I'm saying that if the age is greater than or equal to 13, greater than or equal to 13, meaning I am giving another condition. The second condition usually starts with the elif keyword. Here in this keyword, I'm giving the condition age should be greater than or equal to 13. If at all this condition is completed, I'm giving a colon. So Python will understand, okay, the condition is completed. I need to get inside the elif block. Here in this case, I'm trying to say that if age value is 17, 17 is greater than or equal to 13. Yes, 17 is greater than 13. Then this second line, the second elif block will be executed. Under elif block, I will say that, this person is a teenager. This person is a teenager. First, this condition will be evaluated. The condition turns false. It is not returning true. This block will not be executed. This line will not be executed. Second, it will come here. When it is checking, yes, this person is greater than the age is 17 is greater than 13, then print teen will be printed. Okay. If these two conditions are not working, if these two conditions are not satisfied, if these two conditions are returning false, then in that case only by default this else condition will work. By default this else condition will work. In that case, we are calling the else condition to be child. Else condition, we are trying to call it as child. Now let me explain this. If elif and else statements. If condition, I have created a variable with a value age, and I'm assigning the value 17 to it. Now 17 is greater than or equal to 18. No, it is not. So this block will not be executed. The control comes here. Is 17 greater than equal to 13? Yes, then print teen will get executed, and we are seeing it. If at all I am giving a value, I'm giving a value 12. So 12 is not greater than equal to 18, and 12 is not greater than equal to 13. In that case, these two condition fails. These two condition fails, and by default, we know this third condition will be executed and say child will be written. So this is how if and elif and else statements are used in Python. Okay. The next statement, the next topic, what we are going to discuss is called as comparisons. Comparisons and truthiness is what we are going to discuss. What is this comparison and truthiness? Say, for example, I have a score. I have a score. Score is a variable, and I'm assigning the value 85 to it. Now, I want to check whether this 85 is greater than 0, and I also want to check whether the score is lesser than 100. So I want to do two comparisons, but I want to do this comparison on one single line. So what I will try to do, I'm using a print statement so that we will get to know the result. I'm trying to say that print 0 is lesser than or equal to score, is lesser than or equal to score. So I'm trying to see that whether score is greater than or equal to 0. I am doing this validation. Greater than symbol equal to and 0 F code. I also want to check whether the score is lesser than or equal to 100. By this comparison, I am able to compare two values at a time. I am checking whether the score is greater than 0 and also checking whether the score is lesser than 100. In this case, it is true. It is 85 is greater than 0, and at the same time it is lesser than 100. In that case, when two conditions are returning correct, true, only then we will get the answer true here. So this is one way where we can validate our comparisons and the truthiness. The next topic what we are going to discuss here, we call it as nested style. What is this nested style? Let me give you an example. In the beginning of the class, you remember I have created one data type called as a dictionary data type. Usually dictionary data type in take up the real dictionary. In real dictionary, we have the key, and the respective meaning to it. In Python dictionary, we have the key and the necessary value to it, and usually dictionaries are represented in curly braces, and then in the curly braces we have the colon symbol, we have the colon symbol. So in the colon symbol towards the left, we call that as a key, we call that as a key, and in the colon symbol towards the right, we call that as value. So I'm giving here active as a key, and I'm giving the value true here, and then every key value pair is separated by a comma, separated by a comma, and then I want to create one more key value pair. I'm giving colon. Towards the left of the colon, I give a key, and towards the right of the colon, I give the value. I give the value. So here the key is the key is active, and the respective value is true. And here the another key is paid, and the respective value is false. And to this, I'm assigning a variable user. And to this, I'm assigning a variable user. Now, in using this dictionary, we are going to use this if, elif, and else. If, elif, or else, we are going to use it in a different style. We call this a style. We call this a style as a nested style. We call this style as nested style. Okay. Without any delay, we will go into the program. Now, what I want to do here is I want to check whether the user is active or not. The user is active or not. So I am writing one if condition, and then I am passing a value. I'm passing a hard coded value. If active in user, if active in user, you remember I have used in. In is a membership operator where it tells whether this active is present inside this dictionary user or not. Yes, it is present. You are able to understand. I am using an membership operator. So I am using that membership operator because I am using in. Here in what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to use an if block where active is a key present in user. I am trying to check using this if condition. If it is this active is present as a key in user, then this condition returns true. If the condition returns true, the condition is completed because I've given colon here. Inside the colon, it will go. The Python control will go inside the colon, and inside the colon, I'm using this dictionary. If user in square brackets, I'm giving active. In user, I'm giving the square brackets active. So this one, if user active, that means the dictionary user, and I'm passing the key. If I'm giving you dictionary name and I'm passing the key, whatever is the value true, whatever is the value here, it in the runtime it will get replaced. So this is also true, and the user active is also true. So the condition is completed. It will get inside the block. It will get inside the block. Inside the block, I'm trying to say if user paid, if user paid, here the dictionary name and the key paid I'm giving, and the value in that one is false, and the value in that one is false. So since it is false, this line will be executed, and the control will not get inside here because it is returning false. But if at all, if the paid is returning, if the paid value is set to true, I want to say that access granted. I want to say that access granted. If at all, in this case, user paid is what? User and paid, it is returning false. So this line will not get executed. It will come out and look for any else block. If this condition is not working, it will look for the else condition. In else condition, we need to say that print please make payment. We need to say print please complete payment. Okay, now if since this condition is failed, it is returning false, automatically this line will be executed. If at all, this if user active, In user active, it is returning true, hence it is going to the next block. If at all, if this user active is not true, we have to tell to the control, we need to tell to them saying that, you need to make sure that in the else block, you need to tell that, please activate your account. So here, activate please activate your account, it will go. If you see here, if this case is returning false, automatically this line will get executed, print activate our account. If this case is returning false, automatically it will go to the else block. In the else block, it will say that print invalid user, invalid user. Now let me explain this code. Here we are using multiple if and multiple yes. Since we are using if inside if and else inside else, we call this style as a nested if else style. Okay, now let me explain what is happening here. I am checking whether this active is present inside this dictionary. It is present because I'm using a membership operator we have discussed in the yesterday's class. Since it is returning true, it is present, it will return true. Only if it is returning true, it will go to the next if block. If this return true is not, if this line if block is not returning true, directly it will come to this else block and it will say print invalid user. If this is returning true only, it will get inside this if block. Here in this if block, if user active, user dictionary and active key, when we are giving, it will return the value true. Since it is returning the value true, then only it will go to this line. If this line itself is saying user active, it is returning true here. If it is, or in case we give an example false, it will directly come to this block, activate your account. Remember, this if block and the outer, this outer if block and outer else block are connected. The second if block and the second else block are connected. The third if block and the third else block are connected. If any one of this is returning false, the else block will be executed. If any one of the if blocks are returning true, only then it will go to the second if block and the third if block. Remember this one. Now when we are executing, please complete payment. How it is? Active in user, yes, it is returning true, and then user active, it is returning true, and then if user paid, it is false, so this line will not get executed. It will directly come here to the else block and say please complete payment. This is called as inside if we are using multiple ifs, and inside else we are using multiple else. So this is called as nested style of if else. Okay, the next thing what we are going to discuss is called as, a guard style. Okay, guard style, let me write guard style. Okay, now in guard style, let us see what is happening. Let's take up the same example. User is a variable, I'm creating a dictionary. Inside the dictionary, I'm using active, and then I'm giving the value true, and then the next key value pair is paid, and then the value to it is false. So the same problem, the same example what we have written in nested style, let's see how we can implement the same thing in guard style. Okay, in the guard style, I have something called as, I want to check whether I will be using if block, elif block, and then elif block, and then else block I will be using. So instead of using multiple if blocks, instead of using multiple else block, I will be using, if, elif, and else. Here, one if is resting inside another if is resting inside another if. There are nested if. So instead of using that style, I'm using if, elif, and else. Now I will write the same program using if, elif, and elif, not one inside the other. Now what I will try to do here is I am trying to say if active not in user, not in user. Now what does it mean? If active is present inside this dictionary, it is present. I am not using directly, I'm not using in operator, I'm using not in operator. So not in operator, what it will return? If it is returning, if the active user not in you, if the active keyword is not inside this user dictionary, I have to print the line, I have to print the line invalid user, invalid user I will be printing. The next thing what I will try to do here is I will use the elif block. Inside elif block I am using elif not user, and then I am passing the keyword active. I am passing the keyword active. Now what this is happening, I am trying to check whether user active is present. It is returning true. If it is returning true, then it should get into this one. I'm using not user active. If it is not user active, it should say that, print activate your account, activate your account. It should print activate your account, it should do. And then the next case is I have to use elif not user, and then if the user is not paid, if the user not paid, I have to tell them print, I have to tell them print please complete payment, please complete payment. And then first this condition will be checked, and then the next condition will be checked, and then the next condition will be checked. So you need to understand, even if this condition is returning true or false, if it is returning true, this line will be executed. If it is returning false, this line will not be executed. The second condition will come. The second condition will be executed. If it is returning true, then this condition will be executed. If this condition is failing, not returning true, then this line will not be executed. If it is returning true, only then this line will be executed. Now in all these cases, if elif and elif, if it is not getting executed, all these if block, elif two blocks are not getting executed, in that case only the else block will get executed. In the else block, we will say that access granted, access granted. So what is it happening? Paid is in capitals. Okay, please complete payment, please complete payment. So this is a way of writing in a nested style. This is a way of writing in guard style. So based on whatever style you are comfortable, you can implement this if, elif and else logic. Okay, the next code what I'm going to teach you here is called as ternary one line. I'm going to explain in one line. You will be able to write this one. Say for example, I am given a marks. The marks of a student is 72. Okay, the mark of a student is 72. Now what I should do here is I need to check whether this if at all this guy is scoring above 50. If he's scoring above 50 or equal to 50, he is pass. If the guy is scoring less than 50, he is fail. Okay, so I need to write that in one line. So I will write the core logic here. If the marks, if marks is greater than or equal to 50. Okay, this is the core condition. If marks is greater than or equal to 50, then in that case, this pass should be executed. Remember, if the mark is greater than equal to 50, pass, the left hand side, towards your left hand side will be executed. If in case this marks is lesser than 50 and it is equal to 50, then the right hand side fail will be executed. fail will be executed. This is a ternary one line where you can use if condition. If your condition is true, I'm giving my if condition. If the if condition is true, in then the right hand side will be the left hand side will be considered pass. If the condition is false, it is not returning, it is not meeting the condition, then the right hand side will come into picture. The right hand side will be coming to picture. Now I'm storing that variable into a I'm storing the result into a variable. Now this is a grade. Now when I print grade, I will be able to see that, since the mark 72 is greater than or equal to 50, this pass will be executed. In this case, you give 49. The 49, this condition will be executed. The right hand side, else will come into picture. So this is one if condition, and else and if condition you're writing in one line. This is called as ternary one line. Okay, the next important thing what I'm going to discuss here is called as an match, where this match came only in the Python version 3.10, and after that it is existing. Before this Python 3.10, this feature is not present. Now let me create a variable choice, and I'm assign it with a value, and assign it with a value 2. I'm assigning it with a value 2. Now what I will try to do here is I will create one keyword match choice, and then I would give some cases here. This is case 1. Okay, this is case 1. So what is happening here? I am creating a variable called as choice, and I'm giving the value 2 to it, and then this match is a keyword in Python. So when I'm trying to take this match and then I'm going to pass the value 2, at the runtime the choice will be replaced with the 2. It will look for case 1 and case 2. Since the choice is meeting this case 2, it will print 2. If there is no case, say for example I'm giving 5 where there is no case 1 and case 2 only is there, case 5 is not there, automatically it will say invalid choice. So in this match is a new way to use this in Python 3.10, where it will directly match your choice, and if that particular choice is listed as a case here, inside the case, it will get inside the case block and then execute whatever the line is present. In this case, choice 2 is matching this case 2, and then it is executing the line print 2. So this completes your conditional statements in Python. In conditional statements, you have come across if, elif, and else, and if, elif, and else are executed in this fashion. And then we discussed about comparison and truthiness, nested style and guard style and ternary one style, and how match is being used. Okay, so this completes your class for today, and in the next class we will be studying about the looping concepts in Python. Okay, thank you guys.